Minasan konnichiwa, Davide here, and we are back with another update on the Japan borders and how the travel ban is affecting international students, workers, families, and couples waiting to enter Japan. Japan has reopened the borders, but things are still not going great for foreigners waiting to enter Japan. Okay, I'll stop imitating the Japanese government and their slowness. Open the borders should be as simple and straightforward as opening a bottle of water. You want to open the borders like this, completely open, and then you can drink. You don't want to open like this, like maybe 1/5 open, because if you do that, then it's a mess. The truth is that not only foreigners are unhappy about the situation, but also Japanese companies and people. Schools and companies, for example, have a lot of extra work with all the new paperwork required to process each visa, while Japanese people, such as business travelers, can't use easily the short-term quarantine because it's almost impossible to provide all the necessary documents. Because the current procedure is bad for everyone, for foreigners, for Japanese people, and for companies and schools, I'm confident that it will be simplified and more people will let in earlier. Unfortunately, it's very hard to predict when, but we have seen already little progress, like a simplified pledge to be provided to students. Now it's one page only and is in English too. The number of people that can enter per day increased from 3,500 to 5,000, and also the vaccine certificate to reduce the quarantine is needed now only at the time of arrival, not anymore before asking for the examination certificate. On the 15th of November, the team of education.tourist.com, Nyoryuga Kunoto Bira o Irakukai in Japanese, led by Communica Institute and Kai Japanese Language School, has sent a formal request to the Ministry of Education asking for all international students who have received a COA certificate should be processed by the end of the year or January next year. Continued acceptance of international students regardless of the status of the corona pandemic. In other words, keep the borders open. It was important to ask for it as soon as possible, since for many students time is really running out. The English translation that I show here in the video is not an official translation, but a translation I personally made. We only handled the Japanese one. Again, thanks a lot to the Japanese Language School who handled the letter. Together with our formal request submitted to the Ministry of Education, there is another petition that is asking a similar review of the entry procedure. This petition has already reached over 7,000 signs. I will link the petition in the description together with all the other content I talk in this video. In this channel, I want to continue to talk about the Japanese border, sharing all the relevant updates for you watching and making sure you don't get confused by all the noise and negativity out there. There are a few updates that I want to share with you today. I want to first start by the number of cases in Japan, which have been, as you probably know, very low for quite a while now. We had only 167 cases in the whole country yesterday and 20 in Tokyo. This is very good since it will push Japan to open more and relax the restriction further. Japan has prepared to give the booster shot of its vaccine to the residents between 6 to 8 months after they took their second shot. This will keep high the protection against the coronavirus and reduce hospitalization in winter. Japan is also planning to restart GoTo Travel either in January or February. Although this could be seen as a risky move, the fact that Japan is moving to promote internal travel is a good sign for all of us, because it means that they will continue to relax the policies rather than keeping the policies very strict. It's very hard to think that Japan will close the borders again if GoTo is active. In fact, this year in January, when they closed the border, it was pretty much at the same time they stopped at GoTo. In few words, let's hope that GoTo is active for the whole 2022, so it means that there won't be problem with the borders. Since the number of workers is much lower than students and trainees, all workers can already have the examination certificate, which means they can start already the process to enter Japan. And working holiday visa seems recognized. However, it depends if you have already a sponsor like a school or an employer that can give you the examination certificate. So if you have no school or no employer, it may be difficult to enter Japan even if you have a working holiday visa. I made a live video with Alice, one of the workers in the middle of the process last week, and you can watch it here. The French embassy has announced that parents, stepbrothers and stepsisters, half-brothers and half-sisters of Japanese nationals and their spouse and grandparents of Japanese nationals can now enter Japan without any special circumstances. This is another step in the right direction for families. I don't know if this is only for French citizens or is for everyone, so please, in case you are related to this, check with your embassy, and as always, leave a comment to let everyone else know about the situation in other countries. That's everything for today. As you can see, there are few little steps in the right direction this week. Things are moving very slowly, but they're moving. I hope that, as it's very common in Japan, an example like it happened for the vaccination campaign, Japan starts always very slow with a lot of meetings and a clumsy process to then speed up suddenly, and without even we realize we're gonna have most of the foreigners waiting, most of you waiting, being in Japan at the beginning of 2022. This is my hope, and as always, please stay positive, and I'll see you all in the next video. Mata ne!